Hey, I know it's been a while since I made one of these, but here I am at the usual Toys R Us I shop at, not the one I work at, and this is the Sonic aisle, practically picked clean. There's one superposer, a Morphlite, a few of those 1-inch flocked figures, and some Chaotix packs left, and the big Sonics. Although I believe... there we go. Sonic Comic 2 pack. So hopefully that means that the Blaze figure is coming soon. In the meantime, I found a nice consolation.
Now, unlike most Transformers collectors who have to have whole collections and stuff, I really concentrate on only a few of my favorites, with a couple of exceptions being certain iconic Transformers that, just kind of make the brand. Transformers that you can't think of without thinking about the whole brand name. Of course, you all know Optimus and Megatron, the mighty leaders, but of the secondary characters, there are still lots of icons. Well, a couple. On the Autobot side will probably be Bumblebee, who's practically the face of Transformers ever since the movie era, but on the Decepticon half, that would undoubtedly be Starscream. The thing is, I never really found a Starscream figure that I was completely satisfied with, so for an unusually long amount of time, my collection went without one. Until today. And here is Fall of Cybertron Starscream. This is finally the Starscream that I ultimately ended up getting. Before we go into him, let's compare his vehicle mode to some of the older ones. I know the Starscream that a lot of people probably have would be the classic Starscream, here seen in the Thundercracker recolor. I absolutely love the way this mold looks in vehicle mode. It is a beautiful F-15. He ended up not being my Starscream because the Starscream version of this mold came out way back in like 2005 or 2006 or something, and I didn't collect Transformers back then. So by the time I did start collecting Transformers, I would have had to get him on the secondary market where he would have been really expensive. But yeah, everybody has to have at least one copy of this Seeker mold, whatever color it's in. I just picked Thundercracker because he's my favorite. The other Starscream mold that I have is the Transformers Prime Starscream. Very nice F-16. I've already reviewed this version of the mold, and I only had one beef with it, and that was I don't really like Starscream's colors in Transformers Prime. His colors remind me too much of the movie version of Starscream, a design that fills me with so much rage and bile that even taking one of the most beautifully designed robot modes ever and putting it in that color scheme is enough to make me find it slightly off-putting. So yes, of course, I took my Transformers Prime Starscream and repainted it in Slipstream colors. The female Seeker. And that is really the reason why I got this version of Starscream finally, because he may not be G1 Starscream, but he's in G1 Starscream colors. I mean, you got the red, the blue, the white, although I guess fitting in with a bit of the grittier tone of the Fall of Cybertron games, the colors are a bit muted. Instead of white, you have like a dull gray. It's plastic gray, but it doesn't look as boring as some other plastic grays look. And his red parts are kind of a maroon. It's a slightly deeper shade of red. As for the Cybertronian jet mode, usually when you hear Cybertronian, that's like a secret code word for abstract, because you're going to be getting something that vaguely resembles a vehicle, but doesn't really look like anything you've ever seen before. I guess that's kind of cool, because then Hasbro doesn't have to pay licensing fees for whatever vehicle they have. Essentially, why does Starscream have a cockpit? I mean, he doesn't have a rider. There's even a little chair in there. I can see it. This is a great jet. Actually, if anything, it sort of reminds me of animated Starscream with the forward swept wing look. It's really nice. There's no real robot kibble showing. I mean, Starscream, these are Starscream's legs, but they look so much like jet exhausts that's perfect camouflage for them. One thing, in the game, this triangular bit on top would separate out into tail fins whenever you make turns, but here this is all one big solid chunk of plastic. It doesn't move. Minor nitpick. If you really wanted to say a flaw, there's that hole right in the middle. Hello. I mean, there's a hole right in the middle of the alt mode where the head is, and the head does a really pitiful job at hiding. How pitiful? Ha ha ha! I am in perfect disguise! Hey, what's that over there? I can't see. I can't see past these pylons. I'm switching back to the cockpit eyes. I don't know, it's just kind of silly that the head is right there. I mean, yes, he has on Cybertron they have vehicle modes to get around easier and not really to disguise themselves, but come on, Starscream, your center of mass now contains your cranium. One errant missile to the wrong place, and they could headshot you by shooting you where you should be the most heavily armored, is what I'm saying. Starscream's weapons are also pretty nice. There's these, it's like a Gatling gun thing. They rotate, and I'm gonna pluck them off right now. You kind of have to pluck them off for the transformation. You have two guns. They're kind of hollow inside, but they combine like so. Look, they have a peg hole in the middle, so you can stick them onto something that has a peg. And they have 4 handles that Starscream can grab from any place, underneath or on the sides. And there's gearing on the things, so that when you rotate one, the other one rotates with it. So that's pretty cool. That's a nice weapon. I mean, it's not the null rays or just hanging missiles, but it's pretty cool. It has something of a little gimmick that's kind of interesting to look at without being so obtrusive that it interferes with how the toy works. So let's talk about Starscream himself. As I said, the vehicle mode is very cool. Let's get to transforming. So here is Starscream's robot mode, and that, my friends, is Starscream. Even if you've never played War of Cybertron, he's easily recognizable. I can see why this is on the Generations line, because the aesthetic actually matches pretty good. This is unmistakably Starscream. Configured just has a couple little flaws. One is the arms, the shoulders here, don't actually seem to peg in any place. Not that they really go too far, because they can only move this much, so it's not like they're gonna go completely out on his back or anything. And he's kind of hollow inside. From certain angles you can actually see daylight clean through him. Aside from that, he's really nice. His head is on a swivel. See? Swivel. And it can look up thanks to the transformation joint. So you can actually have him flying through the air with the greatest of ease. I'm Starscream. Leg joint is a little tight, so tight that I'm afraid to snap it. Like, whoo, I'm Starscream, I'm flying. Whoo, Superman. That was a long way to go just for me to say Superman once. Okay, so Starscream. Let's not get too distracted by this. Let's talk articulation. He has universal joints at the shoulders, accomplished by not by balls but by various civils. He has a bicep swivel right here. Really nice double jointed elbow that actually allows his hand to reach his shoulder, which is on a swivel joint. Very nice. And he doesn't have any kind of waist joint. You can see the way the transformation goes. They simply wouldn't be able to fit something like that in. Legs, same deal as the arms at the hips. You have a swivel that goes outwards and a swivel that goes forwards. Also, there is a thigh swivel. Nice. He has a knee. Knee only goes about 90 degrees. It's only single jointed. He has a toe joint. The toe can come out this far or just fold all the way back inside. And he has ankle rockers. They go that far. At first it doesn't seem like much, but when I put them out, you can see that he can maintain a flat foot pose with a pretty wide splay. That's not bad. Really nice. And like Ratchet's waist joint, these ankle rockers don't have anything to do with the transformation. They just put that in there because they know that that's articulation that people like to see. So that's Starscream's robot mode. Let's take out his gun, show the various ways he can hold it. You can put the long handle in his hand, and then it looks like this. You can put the short handle in his hand, although it doesn't go in as deep, but he can hold it that way. I don't see any pegs sticking out of his body, so I can't mount it on the peg hole anywhere. But he does have holes in his legs, so you can put the guns on his legs if you like. And of course, he has a peg hole on his forearm that the gun will peg into. And let's separate the guns. A lot of people might want to do this because traditionally Starscream is always transformed with the guns on his forearms, or actually they're usually on his biceps, but putting them on his forearms kind of makes more sense because that's logically the place where you would put guns if you had guns on your arms. You know, no risk of accidentally shooting your hand. And yeah, that's really nice. He has a lot of nice little detail sculpt on him too. I mean, the legs are pretty smooth, but he has like little intake pits on his things. Although it seems that one was painted and one wasn't. It's probably just an error on my figure. Look at his face though. It's a really good looking face. His Starscream helmet is just wonderful, but then his face underneath is really good too. He has a prominent nose and a little pointy chin. Just the little pointy chin, it's kind of like aside from the fact that he has a nose, it's almost like Transformers Prime Starscream is wearing G1 Starscream's hat. That's kind of what that makes me think of. And he can light pipe with the best of them. Nice bright orange light piping. Very nice. So let's just quickly compare his robot mode to my other Starscream mold robot modes and see how he compares. So here are the 3 Starscream molds that I have. As you can see, the Slipstream mold made from the Transformers Prime version is still by far the tallest. Indeed, one of the tallest deluxes that I have. And this new Fall of Cybertron mode is almost exactly the same height as the Classics mold. Seeing as how they're both in the Generations line, that kind of makes sense. As you can see, they all have different gimmicks to their weapons, be they spring-loaded launching missiles, which are bigger than the arms themselves, just mere display missiles that don't do anything other than look nice, or little rotating Gatling gun things, it actually gives a nice variety to my little mini Seeker collection here. So, Fall of Cybertron Starscream is a really cool figure, and he finally fills in that Starscream shaped gap in my Transformers collection. And as for my Transformers collection, I tried to promise myself that aside from a few iconic characters, I'd only limit myself to things that I really like to collect. That includes my favorite character, RC, and any female Transformers that they make. So someone will be getting your due in good time. Although I'm going to have to put myself in a totally different mindset to review this thing. But in the Transformers Prime Beast Hunter series, they've already announced a new female Transformer going to turn into a dragon. That'll be fun to get. But yeah, until then, this is Toy Customizer Wakeangel2K1 signing off.